Welcome, everybody. We had to keep away the millions of people that are coming in here. So I'm glad everybody who could fit in made it. Actually, that was a joke. Sometimes you got to get used to a New York accent and a New York sense of humor here. But we've been seeing in the past month or two another surge in crypto. I'm going to get into this more but I've been here at Broad Financial, also get into this more over a decade. And I've lived through two tremendous crypto surges, 2017 and 2020. We've lived through the lower periods, and now we see it coming back again. And so a lot of interest, a lot of people signing up. And so it's really a great time. Although we planned this months ago, and months ago was looking pretty dead, like it happens in the crypto world, now is a really great time to learn about these things and jump in there and get your questions answered and to learn about it if it's brand new to you. So it is a perfect time to supercharge your crypto investing with a Checkbook IRA. But the idea here is to take your IRA funds and invest it in crypto, which is something that has tremendous potential here. So without further ado, let's move forward. Who am I? That's a good question. People ask me if that's me on the left. So not quite, doesn't like quite as good as me, but it's okay. This book was here it is. It's a very skinny book, by the way. This is a book that I've been here, as I mentioned, since 2013. So by 2017 already, been here it's 4 years, and I started hearing the same questions again and again. By this time, between emails and phone calls, I've probably interacted and exchanged phone calls and emails with something like 20, 30,000 people. It might even be 40,000. But already, it's by the time 4 or 5 years have passed by, even though these are fairly complex, they can be, investing in the whole world is an open book. And even there's a lot of potential here. By the time 4 or 5 years have gone here, I pretty much heard 99% of what I was going to hear. And people asking me, Jeff, great, we have our 15 minutes together. They set up calls and all this. But then they were like, what am I not knowing? What don't I know? And I try and guess what it was. Finally, 2017, I wrote this book, The Ultimate Self-Directed IRA. We've updated it since then, of course. We've had a couple of updates. But when people ask me, Jeff, what don't I know? So I say, well, I don't know what you don't know, but I do know if you read the book. And if you look about the nice thing about the book, it's very skinny. You could read this in an hour and a half, 2 hours max. And the truth is, there's also a Kindle version for $2.99 and an audio version. And the truth is that very often there's misinformation and over-information out there. What people have told me again and again, that this is the book, gets straight to the point, no fluff, tells them what they need to know. And it's readable. Not here to sell a book. It's $2.99. But I'm here to tell you about is this wonderful plan called a self-directed IRA. It's used for much more than just crypto. We're here going to talk about specifically about the crypto aspect of it. We're not a one pony shop. We're not just offering a crypto IRA. We're offering a self-directed IRA, of which crypto is one of the many things that you can invest in. In fact, crypto, when things start skyrocketing, crypto moves up, even sometimes the number one above real estate. But real estate, crypto, in good times are the number 1 and 2 things people are investing in. We'll get more into that ahead. I'm jumping the gun here. Okay, so who am I? My name is Jeff Astor. I began with Broad Financial in 2013. At that point, we were exclusively a checkbook company. We used to, we'll get into what a checkbook IRA is, but we used to outsource our custodial functions to a third party. In 2014, we created, as we'll learn, Madison Trust. I was one of the first 10 people in Broad Financial. I'm the last standing of those first 10. And I think we're pushing 70 plus now even. So I've watched this company really grow over the years. And it's really been a wonderful thing to watch and to be part of. And now, to be able to talk to you and an audience and express what we have to offer you. So I guess that's a little bit about who I am. And let's go forward. What is a self-directed IRA? So now we're going to start from the ground up. So if you don't know anything, this is something that you're going to learn from the ground up. If you know if you know it, we'll move swiftly, so it won't bog you down too much. But what a self-directed IRA really is in our industry, what it means is the ability to go beyond Wall Street. Wall Street is stocks and bonds and mutual funds. Sometimes the Wall Street brokerages call themselves self-directed. To us, that's not really self-directed. If you can get this stock or that stock, what we mean is the ability to go off of paper investments, basically, and into actual tangible things. Self-directed is the ability to go beyond paper into what are called alternative assets. And those are tangible assets. So you see here some of the list of the things. Real estate traditionally has been the number one asset class that people are calling us up to invest in, but it's not the only one. Real estate related things as well, notes and loans. Some people really use our plans and they make loans, bridge loans, hard money loans, all types of things, and they get the interest, and the interest comes back into their self-directed IRA, tax protected. Startup companies, private placements, syndications, which are, for instance, things where some group has buying and selling real estate, and you want to give them a lump sum. There's all these types of things, and then cryptocurrencies. And the truth is, when I began in 2013, I didn't know anything. I think, and nobody in the office knew anything about Bitcoin. We didn't call crypto. Crypto was like it's like, it was too advanced. It didn't really exist, that term, so much then. At least it wasn't popular. And I remember in 2014, I got my first call for Bitcoin. I turned to my friend. I said, does anybody know what a Bitcoin is? What the heck's a Bitcoin? I've since learned, and I myself invest in using one of our plans to invest in cryptos. But it was eye-opening. What is crypto? And then I found out, we'll get into one of the stories that really had me understand what this is all about. But here we're talking about what a self-directed IRA is. Again, a self-directed IRA is the ability to go off of Wall Street, to go beyond something that's public and just public and publicly traded, something that's private. It could be a friend. A friend has a business. A friend is doing real estate. A friend is doing something. You give them the money, and they give you back, your principal plus profit goes back into the IRA, tax protected, and that's one of the beauties of a self-directed IRA. Chapter 2 in my book talks about why didn't I know that that self-directed IRA existed. It's a conversation, but essentially there was a landmark Supreme Court case in 1996 called Swanson versus Commissioner, and the IRS said you can't do these self-directed type plans. And finally, the IRS lost. I think it was 2020, and at that point, retroactive to 1974 when they created IRAs, self-directed IRAs were legal. Were officially legal, but it really didn't catch on until about 2008, 2009, when the market crashed then. And we'll talk maybe a little more about that. But the bottom line is that people were looking for alternatives to the market because the market crashed. And even though real estate crashed, a lot of people were doing good, and some people were doing well in real estate, and they knew how to make money in it. Bottom line is that self-directed IRA, again, gets you all these options that you wouldn't get in a normal Wall Street plan. So basically, what the rule is with IRAs, self-directed IRAs, is that you can invest. This is a rule. It's in the IRS code. You can invest in everything but collectibles and life insurance. Collectibles are things like artwork and precious metals before a certain date. Things that have their baseball cards, trading baseball cards. These are collectibles. That's not allowed by the IRS. And life insurance as well is not allowed in an IRA. But what that means, the IRS is saying that if it's not collectibles, it's not life insurance, it's allowed. Precious metals, buying gold and silver is allowed. And crypto is not a collectible, it's not life insurance. And in fact, the IRS a few years ago came up with the description that crypto is like, in essence, like property, which of course is something that that is, as I mentioned, is one of the common things that IRAs are used for, self-directed IRAs are used for. But you see here some of the things that you can invest in. You see in the list there: collectibles, life insurance, stamps, right? Not good, precious gems, fancy rugs, and certain types of bullion. But everything else is in play, and crypto falls into something of everything else. Now, what is a checkbook IRA? So in the self-directed world, there are two basic self-directed IRA models: a custodian model and a checkbook model. Every self-directed IRA needs a custodian. A custodian is an IRS appointed and necessary middle party. They're necessary at the least, at the minimum, to roll your funds over. Your funds are currently at a custodian somewhere, whether it's a brokerage or maybe it's at a bank or an institution. They're responsible to interacting with the IRS about what's going on in your IRA. So every self-directed IRA needs a custodian, this IRS middle party. And we created our own custodian back in 2014. Their name is Madison Trust. We work hand in glove with them. They're here in the office to my right. Over here is our beautiful office, large office. We've got people from Madison, people from Broad. And so Madison Trust is the custodial arm of the company. We call each other the sister companies. Since I started with Broad Financial, I like to point out that we're the older sister and Madison's the younger sister, but we do work hand in glove with each other. A checkbook plan allows a person to go one step beyond the custodial plan. In a custodial plan, everything has to go through the custodian. You want to buy something, you have to ask the custodian, they have to approve it. You want to send out some money to an investment, you have to tell the custodian, send some money out. That's a custodial plan. And that is an option. We do offer that. That is ideal in certain situations. Like, for instance, if you're just sending a lump sum of money to some real estate developer or a syndication, you're not doing a lot of activity in terms of writing checks. You want the checkbook plan, we offer that. With that, you want the custodial plan, we offer that. But if you want to go beyond and be more active, for instance, in real estate, buying and selling real estate, and literally being on site and paying the bills, that you want a checkbook plan. We're not going to talk about that today, but today we are going to talk about cryptocurrencies. And for the crypto, we offer the checkbook plan. So again, there's two basic self-directed IRA models: the custodial model, which does not involve a check, which money where your money resides at the custodian, and the checkbook model, where your money, where what we do is we create a legal entity. Actually, there are two types of checkbook plans. We'll get into that, but whatever it is, we create a legal entity that allows us to take your money out of our hands and into a bank of your choice. And if you want to buy real estate, you would just use that bank account to buy the real estate. If you want to buy crypto, then you connect the bank to an exchange and you'll set up this entity, either an LLC or a trust. We'll talk about that. And you invest in the crypto. We'll get to all that. But the point here being is that there's two basic models: a custodial model. Where everything here is self-directed. It's a self-directed custodial plan or a self-directed checkbook plan. Both are IRA plans that allow you to invest IRA money in different types of things. And depending on what you're doing, we might recommend one or the other. Today, we're talking about crypto, so we're talking about the checkbook IRA. What is an IRA LLC? So, as I mentioned, there are two types of legal entities that we create to give you this checkbook control. One is an LLC and one is a trust. Now, more people are more familiar with the LLC. LLC stands for a limited liability company. And what that actually means is that it's a legal entity that banks set up all the time. It must be millions and millions of LLCs, maybe tens of millions, probably more than that, maybe hundreds of millions of LLCs that have been created. And an LLC doesn't have to be with an IRA. Most LLCs are not. An LLC, you might buy a piece of property, put it in an LLC, and what that means, if someone slips on the property and there's a lawsuit, the LLC limits your liability. It gives you a liability shield, so that if you really argue, something where where it was your fault, but it limits your liability. This person who's suing can't come after your personal assets up to a certain amount. It limits what they can do. So an LLC has been a very effective tool. It's in the news these days for different reasons, but the LLC is a famous thing. What we do is we create an IRA LLC. That's an LLC that's owned by your IRA. And this is where the custodian Madison Trust comes in and is necessary. You're going to set up an IRA at Madison Trust, and we're going to set up an LLC. If you do the LLC, an IRA LLC through Broad Financial, it's really hand in glove. Like, for instance, if you go to the Broad Financial website, open up an account, and you're going to sign up, you're going to get a link to Madison Trust. But the bottom line is, you're going to create an IRA. We'll help you. We'll set up in your IRA that will then own this LLC. The LLC, by the way, is not a typical LLC. We get this question a lot. Jeff, I have an LLC. Can I just use my LLC? And the answer is no. If we try to move your money into a regular LLC, it would be taxed and penalized. It's called a prohibited transaction. What we create, and when we say an IRA LLC, actually is an LLC with a operating agreement. Ours is actually it's one of the, I think it's one of the largest in the industry. It's got a good 15 pages of detailed information that covers every potential to make this LLC legal to hold IRA funds. So we create the IRA LLC. We email you the LLC docs. You take that to a bank of your choice. Could be big bank, could be little bank, could be local bank, could be online bank. You set up the LLC there. You tell us which bank, and Madison will then wire your money into that bank. Now you have money at a bank inside an LLC. To the bank, it looks like an LLC. The bank usually doesn't have to know, or maybe even better not know, that there's LLC money funding. To them, it's another LLC. It's just a place to house an LLC. And now you're ready to invest. Again, if it's not crypto, if it's real estate, you just write a check, buy the real estate. You want to invest in a private company, you just write a check or wire the funds. Notes, same thing. But if you want to go crypto, it's another step, which we're going to get to, is you have to set up the LLC at an exchange. We'll get to that. But before we go to that, I want to talk about the other type of checkbook vehicle, checkbook entity that we offer. And well, let's see here. Does the IRS allow, before we get to the trust, let's just answer this question. Does the IRS allow crypto be held inside an IRA LLC? Yes, cryptos can be held in an IRA LLC. Just like when you move money into an LLC, again, you can buy everything but collectibles and life insurance. So you can buy real estate, you can buy private companies, private placements, notes. and precious metals and crypto. So yes, you can hold crypto in an IRA LLC, and we've been doing this for many years. Lots of customers doing it. Now, again, so the other type of legal entity is a trust. This is something that people are less familiar with. But a trust is the federal government's equivalent of an LLC. It's a legal entity created by the federal government. Whereas there are 50 types of LLCs, because there are 50 states, and each state has unique language. Some are very basic and some are very deep, have a lot of language in there for various different situations. A trust is one type of trust. Now, there are certain, you can also vary the trust, because there are what people are familiar with, they're familiar with living trusts or estate planning trusts or family trusts. Those are where you put your holdings and your assets into a trust, and for inheritance purposes, it protects against the probate and other types of potential tax situations. What we're creating is a different type of trust. We're creating an IRA trust. Again, it's a federally created entity, but it's got its own unique language to be able to hold IRA funds. We're going to compare it a little better. But the bottom line is that what's common is that an IRA LLC or an IRA trust is the entity that allows you to open up a bank account and allows us to move your money out of our hands into that bank and give you the freedom to invest directly yourself, or then also in fact to go into the world of crypto. So again, if your money's not in a checkbook plan, if it's not an IRA LLC or an IRA trust, your IRA is at the custodian, and everything has to go through the custodian. And when it goes through the custodian, that could slow things down because they're going to have to review every investment. And it also could cost. Most custodians charge a transaction fee every time you send out money. Most custodians charge and even an asset-based fee, a certain percentage, a trading fee. There's all these, and you'll know you're looking at a website for a custodial plan, because you'll see something called a fee schedule. If it's a checkbook plan, you won't see a fee schedule, because the checkbook plan, whether it's an IRA or a trust, has a flat one-time setup fee to create the legal entity, has a fee for the custodian, a flat one-time low fee for that, and then an ongoing fee for some reporting. But it doesn't have anything more than that. It doesn't have this whole fee schedule, all the things you have to pay the custodian for if you do. So that's one of the indicators. But that's what a checkbook plan. Again, there's a checkbook plan allows us to move your money out of our hands into your own hands at a bank of your choice. There are two checkbook vehicles, an IRA LLC and IRA trust. We offer both. We have clients using both for crypto investing. Generally speaking, I've given these webinars, especially of crypto, a few times now over the years. Over the years, it's been moved. There used to be more reasons to do the LLC. Now there's more reasons to do the trust. And we can get into that a little later. But these two options are here and available for you. They both work. We've got lots of clients using both of them. Why is a checkbook IRA greater for investing in cryptocurrency? So you got the 3 C's here. You've got choice, cost, and control. Let me take a step back. What that question is really assuming is that you've been doing your research, you're looking over the net. Mostly what you're going to find in the IRA crypto world are custodial type of plans. We're unique. We were one of the first ones to offer the checkbook plan. But the bottom line is that there are many of other competitors out there. It's really not apples to apples, because they're offering custodial versions of a crypto plan. And they're giving you we'll talk about some of those things. But we're offering in the checkbook plan. Why is the checkbook IRA greater for investing in cryptocurrency? So we're going to get the 3 C's. Choice. First one, whether it's the LLC or the trust, you can take your IRA money onto all the exchanges. You're not coming to us. We don't have cryptos. We're giving you the vehicle to go onto the exchanges, Coinbase, Kraken, Gemini, and others. A cost. One of the big killers that people don't realize of these other custodial IRA companies is that they're charging you a percentage to sign up. I had a guy that told me up a wealthy, he was a retired doctor, and he had $1 million and he wanted to sign up, and he was about to sign up with one of these custodial companies. And they said, we charge you 15% to sign up. He had $1 million. They were going to charge him $150,000. They said, but we'll make a deal for you. We'll only going to charge you 7.5%. He was about to charge pay $75,000 for his $1 million investment, not have control of the keys, have a limited number of cryptos. And there are other issues as well with that company. Versus when he found that for us, he could do it about $1,000 depending on which plan, $1,100, $1,200. He was shocked, and he got more with us because you had got the control. But that's the 3rd C over there with it. So with a checkbook plan, your costs are flat. You're just paying for the plan itself, the trust of the LLC, the custodial setup, and the ongoing custodial fee with us is flat. Many other custodians charge a percentage, an asset-based fee. We do not. So you've got the choice of exchanges. The second C is cost. Your costs are flat. There are no trading fees, there are no asset-based fees, no transaction fees in a checkbook plan. Number three, which we're going to really get into more, the control of the private keys. I'm going to leave that a little generic now. We have a whole separate slide just for the control of private keys, why that C is so important. But that's a C you don't get in the custodial plan. When you sign up with these other companies that are charging, that are custodial-based models, and they're charging you percentage fees, they control the private keys. Now, if you don't know what that is, you should learn about it, and we're going to talk about it more. But controlling the private keys means the ability to take your crypto off of an exchange and into what's called cold wallet, cold storage, and many people feel that is the safest way. Why is controlling the private keys important? So here we go. Here's the great slide here. Basically, security. Now, the ability, as I mentioned, and a lot of people that are new to cryptos, and I talk to people sometimes about this, they say, what's so important about holding the private keys? They might have seen about it. They don't know what it's about. A year ago, for about a little more than a year ago, there was a major news event you might probably heard about called FTX. FTX was one of the fastest growing exchanges, crypto exchanges, and they had billions of dollars, and all of a sudden, billions of dollars were drained out. Now it's still in case, but apparently one of the owners just stole a few $1 billion, just took it out, just drained it out because he had the back door to all those people's crypto that was being on his exchange or something like that. There was something fishy. It was hacked, it was stolen, whatever it was. The people that lost billions of dollars worth of crypto was stolen or lost. Now they were stolen. Now, if people had an FTX, people put their money and bought the crypto on FTX, that's the place where you exchange. Again, an exchange means you're exchanging dollars for crypto. If you put the money on the exchange and then you have control of the private keys, you can take your cryptos off the exchange and into a little, it's called like a cold wallet. They look like a little USB stick. There are different ones. The Ledger Nano is one of the most popular. Maybe I think it's the most popular. There's a Treasure. There's different ones, but it's the ability to then you temporarily plug your crypto, your stick, your wallet, this USB stick type stick into the machine. You move the crypto from the exchange onto this little stick, and you pull it out, and now you disconnect it from the internet. And there are different philosophies out there. Many people feel that is the safest way to secure crypto, safer than keeping it in some, nuclear protected vault under the ground to survive nuclear attack. Because even then, there's still somebody holding your private keys in that situation. As we're going to learn, and maybe I'll mention it now, is that because you control the private keys, if you want to keep your keys on the exchange, you can do that. If you want to move it into cold storage, you can do that. If you want to move it into one of these vaults, these nuclear vaults, where they're holding your crypto, give up control, but maybe get the safety of that storage and plus insurance, you can do that too. That's the beautiful thing about this plan, and really that you can choose, and you could split up. You could have some of it on exchange, some of it in a cold storage, some of it in one of these nuclear vaults, and that's okay because that's doable because you own the keys. You control the private keys. If you don't control the private keys, you can't do that. So we got here, security really is number one. It's a question here again and again, almost everybody calling up. And again, it's the private keys gives you the real ability to do how you want and what you think is the best way to secure crypto, even if it means diversifying to do it in several different ways. Controlling the private keys gives you the flexibility to trade on decentralized exchanges. Coinbase, the most popular, is a centralized exchange. Decentralized exchanges are the ones that don't have have a whole different world. It's almost like the Wild West. And I would say that if you think that crypto is dangerous, scary, decentralized exchanges are scary, but there are people, and I've spoken to them, and done quite well on decentralized exchanges. You can only go onto these decentralized exchanges and buy the crypto that's offered there, the unique crypto that's offered in decentralized exchanges, if you control the private keys. And again, there's another reason why controlling private keys is important. If you're in the decentralized exchange, I just had a conversation with him today, and he's into that, and he was thrilled to hear that he could do it. Right before I came to do this webinar, he just signed up. That was one of the things that he was into. Now, this last thing, the interest-bearing accounts. So this is called staking, but you're allowed to do staking. It became a little bit more, risque over the past year or two. There are certain again, when you stake, you're giving someone else control over your private. You're using your private keys to give your money to somebody else, and he's giving you back 5%, 10%, 15%, somewhere raising returns like interest, except the interest is paid in the form of crypto. That's called staking. I don't know if again, we're not recommending you can do should do this, but if you want to, you can do that. You can only do it because you control the private keys, even though in staking, you're giving up control, but some people have found that to be a very lucrative way to do it. And again, a lot of people I talk to that are savvy, they diversify and do different things. But whether you want to do it or not, you can do it. And you may say to yourself, I'm never going to do it. And then you get experience 5-10 years down the line, say, I'm going to dip my toe in here and see if I can try it. Bottom line is that all these things are possible only because you control the private keys. That's not with most of the competitors who do not give you the control of the private keys. So which is better, and now IRA, LLC, or a trust? I said they're basically the same. Price-wise, it's just $100 difference. We charge $100 more for the LLC over the trust. But LLCs also have in many states, they have a renewal fee. You have to pay for the LLC. You have to pay to renew the LLC. California, for instance, charges you $800 to renew the LLC. Trusts don't cost anything to renew. So you don't have to worry about renewing a trust in terms of fees. And some states, even though they don't charge you a fee, like Texas, they make you fill out some LLC paperwork, even though it's an IRA, even though there's no fee, you got to fill out paperwork. With a trust, no paperwork. So it's clean, it's free, and advance of the trust. Now, so the second bullet is that currently only Binance US restricts you to LLCs. They do not do the trust. Now, when I started giving these lectures a few years ago, Binance was hot. There's Binance and Binance.USS, but Binance US was hot for many months, a year or two. It's had some issues, so it's not as hot as it used to be. But there were clients that called me up, I really want the LLC because I want to go into Binance. Fine, you got the LLC option. Today, since I rarely talk to anybody that's so into Binance, the trust will work fine because the major exchanges, and that includes Kraken and Coinbase and Gemini. We've got others like Uphold. People that want to get XRP, for instance, can go on. XRP is a type of crypto, can go on to Uphold with the trust, and there are others as well. So again, the real advantage of the LLC in the crypto world, where for Binance, it would only be for Binance US. At least currently, you can, I don't know when you're going to be listening to this, maybe this is going to go viral for the next 10 years. Better call us just to make sure. But as of this moment, the trust will be fine unless you're into Binance US, Binance.US. So the trust will work. Now, some people say, listen, I want to buy crypto, but I also want to get real estate. Now, again, I mentioned earlier, the LLC could give you a liability shield better than the trust when it comes to real estate. So you may want to do the LLC because then you can get the real estate and the crypto. Or what most people don't realize is that you can start with the trust, and let's say a year or two of 10 down the line, you want to buy a piece of real estate. At that point, you don't even need to buy one of our IRA LLCs. You can get a regular LLC, let's say in Idaho or wherever, and use the IRA trust and make the member of that LLC. Bottom line is that if it's really crypto, and even if it's real estate, and even if there's only a potential for real estate, you're still probably better off with the trust. These things could happen, change. So whenever you're listening to this, good to give us a call, set up a call, call me, go to Broad Financial website, go on there, set up a calendar call, and we'll get the most current up-to-date information. Summary of Checkbook IRA features for investing in crypto. Okay, we've got an unlimited choice of coins, because you can go onto all the centralized changes, and then you can go onto decentralized ones. This really is unlimited. Unlimited security options. You hold the keys, right? As I mentioned, you can keep it on the exchange. You can move it into cold storage. If you want to go into one of these nuclear vault type places where you get insurance, you can do that as well. Unlimited exchanges. Well, again, that's not exactly true. Basically, it's unlimited exchanges that set up LLCs and trusts. Now, you can't set up an American LLC or trust in an overseas exchange. So it's really the exchanges, the centralized exchanges in the U.S. Those are pretty much all open, again, except for Binance US if you want to do LLCs. Unlimited number of transactions. That's an important thing. These other places charge you, especially with the custodial plans, they charge you a trading fee. No trading fees here in a checkbook plan. You're paying the trading fee of the exchange. A Kraken and a Coinbase, they charge fees when you buy and sell, but we don't charge any fee on top of that. So that's another advantage. Low flat rate setup and maintenance fees. Again, our fees I mentioned are flat and not asset-based. Invest not only in cryptocurrencies, but in real estate and a wide variety of alternative investments. That's, you go to these one pony shows with this crypto and you want to do real estate, you're going to have to go to pay for another plan to do real estate. So, but here it's all exists in the single plan. And now we're going to get into the idea that you can do this with Roth funds or traditional funds. Oh, before we get to that, well, here's a chart that's going to compare the two. On the left, we have the custodial type plans. Usually it's an asset-based holding set of fees, asset-based holding transaction fees, limited number of cryptos. They hold the private keys, and it's a platform. This is the key two words. The last word on each of these columns, the left one being the custodial plan, they're typically offering a platform. They have developed some sort of a web-based thing that you can go onto their platform and buy their crypto that they offer. What we're offering is a vehicle. Rather, we don't have a platform. We're giving you a vehicle that you can take your crypto, your IRA, over to the different exchanges and buy it there. I like to talk about, they have a train system. You got to get on the train and stand there and take them where they take you in a limited number of places. What we offer is you take a car out of the showroom, we just tell you some rules of the road and you drive wherever you want. That's the difference between a platform and a vehicle. But in the checkbook plan, which is the vehicle being the IRA trust of the IRA LLC, you got flat fees, you got no transaction fees, you got pretty much any crypto, and you hold the keys. That's a side-by-side comparison. Now, Roth. So, if you don't know, Roth means that you pay the taxes up front. You pay the taxes up front, and what advantage do you get? After 5 years, your profits come back tax-free. So if you put a $100,000 investment and it goes up to $1 million, let's say 10,000 goes up to 100,000, whatever it is. If you did a regular traditional IRA, your money is tax deferred. You don't pay taxes when it goes from 10,000 to 100,000. At age 73, you're required to start taking out a minimum amount. You can voluntarily take it out beforehand and pay the taxes that you hadn't paid. If you're under 59, you also pay a 10% penalty. But in a traditional IRA, it's tax deferred. Roth means you paid the taxes up front, and when you wait 5 years, now all of a sudden your money is going to be tax-free. That means never pay taxes on it, right? There's this famous story that's been going around. Peter Thiel, he invested, I think it was at 5,000, some say 50,000, whatever it was. He invested many years ago. I think it was into PayPal. You know what? I've heard different things, and I didn't look it up myself. So my memory is that he invested 5,000 into PayPal, but he did it with a Roth IRA. He was smart enough back then, many years ago, to do it with a tax. We pay the taxes now. He recently, I think, turned 59 and a half. That's what I just heard, or he's about to turn 59 and a half. His investment in PayPal of 5,000 turned into 5 billion. Now he has 59 and a half. He's allowed to take it out tax-free. So he's going to take out 2 billion tax-free. The government was upset about it. They don't necessarily want to know this story, but the Roth is something they set up because they want people, initially they wanted people for sure to be able to retire better and not to be reliant only on the Social Security system. And a Roth is a way where you've got to have the foresight and you've got to pay the taxes now. And basically Uncle Sam is okay with it, and they're more than okay with it. They're happy to take our money whenever they want it, whenever we're willing to give it. And that's what you're doing. You're giving Uncle Sam your money right now. That's what a Roth is. But you're getting the advantage is 5 years down the line, all your profits come back tax-free. Now, if there's people ask, if you're under 59 and a half, you still have to pay the 10% penalty, even though you've waited 5 years. But basically, your money is not taxable. Your gains and profits are not taxable after 5 years. That's the beauty of a Roth. So again, in a Roth, the principal is tax-free, and the profit is tax-free. The principal is tax-free. If you took 10,000 and paid the Roth, your money's tax-free right away. You can take it out the next day and not pay any more taxes. But you have to wait 5 years. If your 10,000 turns into 100,000, that's the profit that you got to wait 5 years for it to be also tax-free. So here's this story here that I wanted to tell over. So I mentioned that I started back in 2013. I started back in 2013, and I heard, what's a Bitcoin? I didn't know what it was. And 2014, 2015, 2016, even 2017 passed by, and it's like, what are these people doing with Bitcoin? I explained that, well, it's not a collectible, it's not life insurance, so you can buy it. We talked about exchanges, but I really didn't think it was real money. I guess a lot of people thought that, Then in 2017, one of my friends called me over to his screen. He said, remember that guy you all signed up last year? He had $92,000 of Roth, and he plunked it into something called Ethereum, and he sold it, and now we're writing him a check for $1 million tax-free. I looked at that check and my eyes bulged. It was like, whoa, this is not make-believe money. I mean, knew people were making money, but until I actually saw the $1 million check ready to go out, it's like, whoa, this is real stuff. So I actually jumped into crypto the next day myself, or the next week. I jumped into it. I started doing it, got my first crypto inside my retirement plan. But that's the first story. That is a real story. We had this back in the day. We actually put this up as an ad on Google. Joe made $1 million tax-free in his crypto flat rate IRA. and they took it down. They banned it because they think it's a scam. It's not a scam. This guy really did it. And they think, not everybody's going to do it. Of course, you could lose money in crypto. You could lose money in all your investments. We can't guarantee. You're the one that's making the investment choices. We're not investment advisors. But you can make you do. That's a real story. I will tell you another story then. It's not on the screen here. He turned 2 million of crypto into 30 million. Now, people lost money too, but these are real stories. So bottom line is that this is what opened my eyes to the potential here. Again, the potential to win, to lose. It's a risky thing, crypto, but it's something that becoming more and more normal, and people have made tremendous gains in it. Even if it's not 10 times your money in 1 year, there are potential gains here. And we can talk about more of that ahead. But bottom line is that was story number one that really turned me on to it. All right, how long does it take to process? So basically, you got to understand here, there's a couple of moving parts. There's the moving of money to the custodian. There's moving the money from the custodian to the bank you've chosen to set up the IRA trust or the IRA LLC. And then they're setting up the exchange. For us to get your money out from where it is over to the bank you've chosen, that typically takes around 2 weeks. It can take a week, can take 3 weeks. On average, it's about 2 weeks, let's say. The next question is, how quickly can you set up this trust or this LLC at the exchange? And there's an important point that I want to just go off to the side a little bit. Is that if you've been investing in crypto on Coinbase, wherever, you set up a personal account. Well, with this LLC, this trust, we'll show you, but you'll have to go to a different area of the same exchange and set up what's called an institutional account. Not a personal account, an institutional account. You'll set up an institutional account in the name of the IRA LLC or the IRA trust. But either or, well, how long does it take? Once your money's moved from us, the custodian, into the bank, and then ready to go now to the exchange, how long does it take to set up the trust or the LLC at an exchange? So that's where it varies greatly. So as of today, Kraken has always been the fastest and the most efficient in this area. We've got people setting up Kraken the same day. Again, you call if you're not sure. We're going to give you instructions, but if you're not sure, you'll call us. We have great support, live support, email support. We'll show you how to set up an institutional account. Kraken's very fast. As of today, as of this webinar, Coinbase is very slow. Gemini somewhere in the middle. Others have different speeds. Sometimes it changes around. When I signed up originally, Coinbase was 3 days. Now it could be a month or 2 months. We've heard worse. Sometimes it takes faster. So some of our clients set it up simultaneously at a couple of places. You can set up at Kraken and get in the game right away. Or you could at the same time set up a Coinbase because you like the coins on Coinbase. You like certain things about Coinbase, and you'll get there eventually. Whether it take a week, a month, or 2 months, you'll eventually get there. So you can do both. But in terms of the speed here, you got to realize the X factor here is the exchange you choose. What's usually fairly predictable and very predictable is our speed of moving. Even that's not 100% because we're dependent upon the institution holding your funds. They may be efficient, they may not be efficient, but again, on average, it's about 2 weeks. Can be a week, can be 3. That's a known quantity. The exchange then could be a same day, or it could be a few months, a month or 2 or more, even potentially, depending on how things are going with the exchanges. So that's something to be aware of. Fill out Broad Financial's easy online application. If you're in contact with me, I send you an email with a link to the application. It's on the Broad Financial homepage in the top right. It says here, open an account. You basically click on there, you fill it out. You'll pay either partial or full. We offer a partial payment plan, and then we're going to send you a link to Madison Trust. And Madison's where you're going to tell us where your money is and how much of it you want to roll over. And we'll roll it over. But basically, you're setting first the Broad Financial application, and then you're going over to, then we'll send you the link to Madison Trust, and you're telling Madison where your money is and authorizing them to get it over. Meanwhile, while that's happening, we're sending you the trust of the LLC. We're going to email it to you, and you can take it to a bank. We do have a relationship with an online bank. You could set it up with them. You could choose your local bank. Again, big or little, that's up to you. Next, after that, you tell us which bank it is. You tell Madison which bank it is. They're going to send the money in there. They'll wire it. Usually, they'll send the money in there, and now you have money at the bank. Now you have money inside a trust account at a bank you've chosen. Now this trust, you can go over now to your Coinbases and Krakens and Geminis, wherever, and set up the institutional account of the trust, connect it to the bank, and now you're going to be buying crypto, not in your personal name, in the name of the trust. By the way, the trust, we usually recommend putting the word investment trust at the end, and you might call it ABC Investment Trust, your initials or something investment trust. But basically, ABC Investment Trust or whatever it is going to be your bank account, and ABC Investment Trust is going to be what's buying the crypto on the exchange. Now, when it comes to cold storage, when you move it off the exchange, you press the send button and you copy it into the wallet, and you press receive there. as long as you keep a statement, a track record of what it is that you moved it from the bank to the exchange to the wallet, that's all you need to know to keep that paper trail, to keep everything compliant if you're ever audited by the IRS. But the bottom line is that you're going to be buying the cryptos in the name of the trust or the LLC. You'll name the trust of the LLC, and that's going to be what actually owns the cryptos. This one's a little bit outdated because BlockFi went under, so we really have to switch this. I apologize, it's my fault. I didn't change this screen, but we've mentioned already Coinbase is the most popular. Gemini is very popular. Kraken is Europe's largest exchange. We found them to be very efficient. We even have some people there we can connect with. Paxos is an exchange. It's weird, Paxos, and that's weird. It's a New York exchange. New York is so regulated; it's very hard to do anything in New York, and they got approval in New York, but they don't have a lot of choices. But some people like them. Binance US, I mentioned, they only do the LLC, not the trust. Those are some examples. There are others. There's Uphold, I mentioned. They do XRP, Crypto.com. There's a whole bunch of KuCoin. There's a bunch of others. Again, I'm not sure. There may be more whenever you listen to this, or less over time. When you're ready to go, you call us, you'll ask me, or once you're on board, we have our support team should know up to date, how to help you and guide you in that area and which ones are current and that. Who is Broad Financial? So as I mentioned, I've been here since 2013. Broad actually began in 2009. It began when there were 3 owners to the company. You can see that on our homepage. When one of them, his father-in-law, in the 2008-2009 market crash there, his father lost like a lot, 40% of his IRA. And they were making, they're living in real estate. And he said, Dad, why are you in Wall Street? Why don't you move your IRA into real estate? And he said, well, how do I do that? And he said, I don't know how you do that, the son said, but then they researched it and he found out about self-directed IRAs, and he did it for his father, and then they did it then he had friends ask him, and then other people, and eventually Broad Financial became a self-directed company essentially around 2009, very small for a few years. When I began in 2013, we were still trying to reach our first 10,000th client. We're holding now about 20,000 plus. Those are 20,000 plus active clients. We've got people come and go, but people are still actively using our plans, 20,000 plus. That's been since 2013, a good decade plus. We built that up. A plus customer support. People ask me, Jeff, what's the difference between Broad Financial and everybody else? I said, well, check out the track record of support. Don't take my word for it, but we've got. You go to the Better Business Bureau, you go to Yelp and Google and these other places. Sometimes you can you have to pay for instance, on the Better Business Bureau, and sometimes you could pay and get like an A+, but then you're looking there and there's no history in there. Nothing's ever happened, so they don't give you anything but an A+. Don't go by the ratings of the company, go by the testimonials. When a person has used your service, and if they don't like you, they're going to let the world know. So we ask people to do their research, and you'll see Broad Financial, between Broad Financial and Madison Trust, we really have over 1,000 testimonials, hundreds just for each. And again and again and again, people say, great company, did what they said, pick up the phone, answer the email. So we do have that great track record for support. And Madison Trust, as I mentioned, they're an IRS custodian. Someone just asked me today, Jeff, are you SEC insured? We're not SEC because we don't hold Broad Financial doesn't hold anybody's funds. We've had billions of dollars pass through our hands into clients' LLCs or trusts to invest, but we own zero. So we have IRS compliance, and we have opinion letters and IRA determination letters, but we don't own anything. Madison, on the other hand, as I said, Madison, you can have a pure custodial plan without the LLC. And Madison has $4 billion in assets under management. That's since 2014, and they're highly rated. They're under what's called the Banking Commission of South Dakota Banking Commission. So you can look them up there. Also a great record there. We're very proud of our record as a company. So we feel you're not only getting a great plan, really a unique plan in many ways compared to the others, you're getting a great company as well. There are a lot of testimonials. I'm not going to really read these, but again and again, at well over 1,000 of them, you'll see people saying smooth. Every time I call, they're courteous, professional, knowledgeable. Customer service is excellent. By the way, I forgot to mention, I always tell people, even though I wrote the book, when I have questions, I ask the people in support. They have a lot of experience in compliance information. I have questions too sometimes, and I use their knowledge base as well. We have great institutional support. So these are the people that once you come on board, you're going to be working with our support people. I'm very proud of them. We're all very proud of them. We have a great staff here, and they're responsive, and they're smart, and they know what they're talking about. FAQ. Question, can I roll over 401k into an IRA trust? Yeah, 401ks can't answer. Yes, almost any retirement can be rolled into an IRA LLC or an IRA trust. The main thing is it freed? In other words, a lot of people call me up and they say, you know, I'm working for this company and they have a 401k. Can I roll it over? I said, I don't know, but you have to ask them. And the truth is 90% of the time while you work for the company, money's locked up. But if money's not locked up, whether it's a 401k or some other 457 or Kia, whatever they are, and it's not locked up, you can roll it into our plan. The rule is if it can be rolled out of there, it can be rolled into us. So 401ks can definitely go into IRAs. What if I decide later to invest in something other than cryptocurrency? I've said this earlier. Sure, not a problem. An IRA or trust gives you the power to sell your crypto or keep your crypto and you can sell the crypto and reinvest in other funds, or you can keep the crypto at the simultaneously invest in real estate. You're not limited just to crypto. If I already own crypto, can I put it in my IRA LLC trust? I've heard this a lot. Unfortunately, the answer is no. The crypto in your retirement account must be purchased with retirement funds. You know, you can't just take crypto or real estate or cash from your bank account and put it into an IRA. It's got to be earned income that was accrued over the years and investments that hopefully you made a profit. And then with that money, you can buy the thing and now it gets the IRA protection of an investment. But if you have something that's not been purchased with IRA funds, you can't just put it in an IRA. I always tell the story of, you know, if Elon Musk bought Twitter for 44 million, he said, you know, I got a great idea. Let me protect myself from taxes and put it in an IRA. That's not the way the system works. The system works, you've got to buy it with the IRA before you can gain the benefits of the tax protection. Question, is there a minimum amount of cryptocurrency that I must purchase for a retirement account? And with us, the answer is no. This is some of our competitors, because their custodial plans have an asset-based fee, they're making their money off your money that they're holding. They have a minimum. They don't make any money if you don't have less than $10,000 or $15,000, $20,000 or $50,000. So they have a minimum because it's not worth it for them to just, you know, take a percentage, 3%, 5%, whatever it is of you know, $100. So they have minimums. We don't have any minimum. You know, when you sign with Madison Trust, there's a minimum to cover the first year's quarterly fees. But other than that, you can. I did have a guy that started. I remember he graduated college. This was 2016 or 15. He graduated college. He just had his first job, and he first $2,500 check. He wanted to invest in crypto. He set up an account with us. He paid for the account and $2,500, and that was back in 2016. I never wonder what happened to that guy. You know, he might be doing quite well now. You know, even with the ups and downs of crypto, 2015 to now, it's taken quite a jump. But the bottom line is we have no minimums. You can do whatever you want in terms of the minimums. Let's see here. Okay, I think we are ready for a Q&A, and I'm going to ask my partners here, Melanie, if we have any questions. Do we have any questions, Melanie?
Yes, we do. So we have one question that somebody is asking to confirm NFTs are considered crypto and are not disqualified as collectibles, correct?
That's correct. Well, so the NFTs are you know, everything's new in the crypto world. So it's possible some NFTs could be collectibles because, you know, you've got a face of a frog and he's made the only one, and you know, who wants a little digital thing of a frog unless it's a collectible? So it really is a bit of it's not a definite yes. And then other types of NFTs are just types of, you know, crypto vehicles that are fine. So really it's a case-by-case basis when it comes to NFTs. It's not one answer, that we have to look at the NFT and figure out if it is something that is really it's very based on its collectability. Sometimes these things are not decided. You know, we sometimes will tell you it's never been decided yet. It's really a risk. But it could be a collectible. It's also potentially not. Got to go case by case.
Sounds good.
Anything else?
I do see somebody in the audience is like raising their hand. Just be sure to drop your questions in the Q&A chat, and that's how I'll read them off. But our next question is, LLC annual renewal fees with the state must be paid from the IRA checking account, not your personal account, correct?
No, they can be paid from your personal account. It's an LLC that's just being kept. You can pay for the plan, upkeep of the plan from outside the IRA funds. Doesn't have to pay from the IRA. Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Someone else asks, can you hold more than one type of crypto in your checkbook IRA?
Oh, sure. We've got people holding hundreds of them. Sure. Absolutely. Not a problem.
Nice. Does every self-directed IRA need a custodian?
Yes. Every self-directed IRA needs a custodian. And again, there are two models, the pure custodial model and then the checkbook model. But even with the checkbook model, you need the custodian. I call them, in the checkbook model, they're a minimally invasive entity. They have to roll the funds over. They have to report at the minimum. They have to report to the IRS every year. There's a form called a 5498, and only a custodian can do that. Your accountant can't do that. Your attorney can't do that. It's got to be an recognized IRS approved institution that can do the 5498. There are other functions that are voluntary. You may want to do distributions. You may want to take your money out of your IRA and now live off it and tell the IRS that you're ready to pay the taxes that have been deferred. That's called a distribution, and you have to go through the custodian for a distribution. That we charge a $30 service fee for that, or you can do it on a regular basis at $10. But there is a fee for that. There's subsequent rollers. Some people roll over some of their money, and then they get more money, or they were just practicing with a small amount. Now, a month, 6 months, a year later, they want to roll over more funds, a subsequent rollover, or if they want to make a new contribution a year later, that's adding money to the IRA from the outside at the initial setup, and that's a subsequent rollover. There's a service fee of $50. So that you need a custodian for. That you can't just take your money and say, you know what, I'm going to pay $6,500 from that I put into my IRA and put it directly into the LLC or the trust. No, it's got to go through the custodian. There's a fee for that, and then the custodian will send it to the bank when you'll put it on the exchange.
Great. Somebody says, it sounds like everything you said about crypto is also applicable to Forex, correct?
Yeah, well, with Forex, you've got to get on an exchange, right? So if you can get the LLC or the trust onto an exchange, we have people doing that with Forex. That is correct. Excellent point, Cindy. We do have Forex people using our plans.
We had somebody else ask, can a solo 401k be rolled into a checkbook IRA?
Yeah, so I'm glad you brought that up. We probably should have a slide on that. A solo 401k is a plan for people that are self-employed. There's IRAs and there's solo there's company 401ks, which people usually have if they work for a company, and then there's solo 401ks. These are people that have some sort of, it's called active self-employment income. We can talk about that, but it's self-employment income, but no full-time W-2 employees. I mean, they can have 1090, they can be a construction company and everybody's 1099. That's okay. Now, if they have one W-2 employee, they no longer qualify for the solo 401k. But if they do have the self-employment and they don't have any of the full-time W-2 employees, they qualify for a solo 401k. And we have a self-directed solo 401k. And actually, there's advantages to the IRA. There is no custodian. You avoid the custodial fees. There is a higher contribution ceiling. In a solo, you can go up, if you're over 50, up to 73,500, and if you're under 50, you can hit the max contribution level, 66,000, faster than you could with what's called a SEP IRA, which is an IRA for self-employed people, which is 66,000. If you're not self-employed, your maximum 6,500 or 7,500, or I think that's going up next year to 7,000 or 8,000, but it's a much smaller amount. A solo gives you a much higher contribution ceiling and a much smoother, a shorter way to reach that ceiling. Solo has the advantage of a husband and wife can share a solo 401k if they're both self-employed or partners in an LLC. Solo 401k can have Roth and traditional funds within a single plan. There's a whole list of advantages to the solo, but unlike the IRA, which everyone qualifies for, a solo you have to qualify for. Again, self-employment income, but no full-time W employees. If you have a 401k, you can move it into an IRA. If you have an IRA that's not a Roth IRA, a traditional IRA, you can move it into one of our solo 401ks and invest it there. Did that answer the question, Melanie? I went off my solo tangent and I don't remember exactly what the question was.
Yeah, no, I think that it more than answered it. It just was, can a solo 401k be rolled into a checkbook IRA?
I overspoke.
More is better. Somebody asked, what are some banks that can be used for a checkbook IRA?
Say again, was it? I didn't hear.
Are there any banks that can be used for a checkbook IRA? Are there any
all banks. Because remember, a checkbook IRA is just an LLC or a trust. All banks set up LLCs and trusts. People know about LLC or trust is a business account. You go to the bank, listen, you go to any bank and say, listen, do you open up LLC checking accounts? Sure. What's the question? Do you open up trust checking accounts? Sure. What's the question? Trust's not as popular as an LLC, but it's a type of legal entity that usually people use to set up a business account. So again, and you go to the bank and you mention IRA, they're going to look at you. Many of them will look at you cross-eyed. Many middle echelon bankers and banking people don't know what the heck a self-directed IRA is. That's chapter 2 in my book, by the way. Why don't more people know about it? But whatever it is, yes, it's another to the bank. It's just a simple place to house the LLC or the trust. So we've got people at thousands of banks. So again, literally big banks, little banks, online, local, not a problem setting up these LLCs or trusts there.
Great. Somebody else asked, can I invest in crypto futures with money from a checkbook IRA?
Futures. Well, you need some sort of place to do the futures. I think that's what they're talking about now. I don't know if you need a self-directed IRA to do futures. I'm not up to speed on that. I think there's been discussed. Can you do futures? I'm not sure. It's being discussed, in my knowledge, and by the government if they allow it, and if they do allow it, it sounds like something they can do. You don't need a self-directed plan like ours. You do need a self-directed plan for forex and for crypto, as I mentioned. If you need if there is such a thing as a crypto futures exchange that doesn't allow you doesn't allow you to use that's for private alternative assets, then yes, you could use our plan. As long as the exchange can set up an LLC or a trust, and through that you're going to be buying the futures, then fine. But I'm not sure if you need the self-directed plan for that.
Got it. Somebody else asked, and this might be our last question unless anybody has any more. I have just opened an IRA LLC trust and I am also retired. Do I need to wait 5 years for tax-free withdrawals?
Well, the trust itself doesn't mean you're tax-free. You're tax-free only if you convert your money to Roth. You either convert your money to Roth, you have your accountant fill out a form, we can do it for you, have an account with us. Converting to Roth means you're paying taxes now. If you want to convert $100,000 to Roth, you're telling the IRS, you're adding $100,000 income to your current income, the other income, and whatever your tax bracket is, that's the taxes you're going to pay. By the way, that's why there's a strategy to convert to Roth when you have a bad income year, then you can pay less to convert it to Roth. But you're not tax-free. You're never tax-free until you, and unless you convert to Roth. Otherwise, your money's tax deferred. Tax deferred means you don't ever have to pay taxes if you leave it in there until age 73. Currently, it's paid age 73. At age 73, you have to take out what's called required minimum distributions, an RMD, and that's based on you have to talk to an accountant about that, 3%, 5%, whatever it is. You have to, let's say you have 100,000 and you have to take out 5%. So you have to take out 5,000 of that 100,000. Pay the taxes on it. It gets added to your income. When you take money out of an IRA, by the way, distribution, there's no such thing as capital gains. That's a beauty about the IRAs. No capital gains, short-term or long-term in an IRA. When you take money out, whenever that is, it's treated as income. But if you have $100,000 and at 73, you have to take out 5%. So now you're paying on $5,000, you're adding that to your income. You'll pay taxes on the 5,000, but now you can live with the 5,000. You can use that 5,000 to buy a pizza, to go for I don't know, a few years from now. That's maybe all you can buy with $5,000. But you'll be able to live off of it. That's, again, it's only Roth that makes it tax free. Is that the last one, Melanie?
Perfect. Yes, that was our last one. I'll throw it back to you if you had any last words before we wrap it up.
I did want to say one thing because I'm glad I thought about this at the end, because this happens. It doesn't happen. It's going to happen more and more because as crypto becomes more popular, a wider swath of the world is going to be interested in it. And many times, I can say most of the times I talk to people, they're pretty savvy with crypto. They've been on Coinbase, they've been on Gemini, they've been on Kraken, and they bought crypto. And many of them already know about cold storage. They move it, off the storage, off the exchange into cold storage like that. But it happens that we talk to people that are brand new. I just spoke last week to a fellow, brand new, smart fellow, knew about a lot of things, but had never really done crypto. And we discussed it, and I told him my experience, because when I started in 2017, I was brand new to crypto. I saw this potential. I said, I got to do it, but I didn't know what the heck. I knew what an exchange was, barely. I didn't know how the heck you get it. What's it? Cold storage? What's the things like this? So I had to teach myself. So the first thing I tell people, the nice thing about our plan is that you can go onto an exchange, and if you can do it on Coinbase or others, you can do it with an IRA. We're just giving you the ability to do it inside a trust. So I said, take $100, go onto Coinbase, set up a personal account, Joe Smith personal account, whatever your name is. Put $100 on there and buy Bitcoin, sell a Bitcoin, buy some Ethereum, go do it. If you can do that, you already know how to do the main thing that you're going to do with the IRA, because that you do with the trust. The next thing, and this is when I admitted, and I speaking of this fellow, that, it takes a little bit, you have to learn a little bit. You have to learn how to train your nerves a little bit. To take your money off an exchange and into cold storage, you have to, again, get this little Treasure Nano or Nano Ledger Nano or Treasure, put it into the computer, and then you go to the exchange, and you've got to say, okay, X amount of dollars I want to send to this little thing that's connected to my computer now. You press the button, it gives you a code, you copy a code, you paste it into the other side, you press receive, and now it comes into the little wallet, and it shows up there, hopefully. Now, this is where people get nervous. What if I press the wrong buttons? How do I know it's really going to transfer? Because if you lose it, that's it, it's gone. So I told him my first experience. So everybody says that with the first time you do it in small amounts. I don't care how much you have. You have $100, you have $1,000, you have 10,000 or $10 million. When the first time you're going to do a transfer from sending from the exchange to the wallet, do it at $100, do it $10, do a small amount. And then I remember the first time I did it, and I pressed the button. I did it with a small amount, and it didn't happen instantaneously. Back then also things were slower. Oh, what's happening? Oh no, I thought I knew what I was doing. It's gone, it's gone, it's gone. And now, as I was like, having like conniptions here, all of a sudden, it popped in and it was there. There it was. And I was like, yay. So I did it again. I did it a third time. I did like 3 or 4 times before I said, you know what, I can do a bigger amount now. I didn't do the full thing, but the bottom line is that you can practice. You can practice with a personal account. And once you can do it in a personal account, which means getting on the exchange, buying and selling crypto, buying this crypto, buying that crypto, and then moving from the exchange into the wallet, if that's what you want to do, then you can do it in our plan, because our plan is just allowing to do it through the vehicle, the LLC or the IRA. This fellow, we had a very nice conversation. He did sign up a few days later, so I'm sure he's learning the ropes now, and I wish him a lot of luck, and I wish all of you a lot of luck, because this is really an exciting time. This really is an exciting time. Crypto is an exciting thing. It's a potential to really catapult your wealth and your retirement. It's dangerous. Let's not be closed. I'm not trying to sell you something here. People lose money. I've already been in crypto now for 6-7 years, and when I started making money, my whole family said, "You're a genius. You're such an unbelievable. How did you figure this out? How did you know to do this?" And then when it went like this, they're like, "Okay, then we're not going to talk to them anymore." So we have to know. I know what the ups and downs are. It isn't exciting because right now, as of this time, it seems to be on and up. There's what they call the halving next year. Halvings is traditionally a time where crypto jumps. When it jumps, it skyrockets. It goes to the moon, and we get that's when we start getting a lot of business for crypto. They should be calling us now when it's sort of like making some nice gains like that. This is the time to really do it, at least with a little amount. We always what's recommended is risk capital you can risk to lose, but it is an exciting time. The potential of crypto really is almost unmatched. I think if you invested in crypto in the past 10 years, there was no other investment that did as well as crypto. So buyer beware. There's a risk involved, but it's an exciting time to do with an IRA and potentially with a Roth IRA, which, by the way, we see a disproportionate amount of our clients signing up with Roth IRAs for crypto. It's super exciting, and that's things we offer. Again, bottom line, great company, great plan. It's up to you to make the decisions and to make the money. But if you want looking for a vehicle and a great company to back you up with it, I think Broad Financial, Madison Trust, we're the ones to come to. I wish everybody a great day.
Perfect. Jeff, thank you so much for your time, and a huge
Hey,
thank you to
Melanie.
everybody who joined. We hope to see you guys in the next one.
All righty. Bye-bye, everybody.